here, and this is
Heather.
my friend Heather, and we're here to read to you from the Urantia book. Do you want to say hi, Dylan?
Hello.
Say hi. There's Dylan over there. Say hi, Dylan.
Hello.
Okay, yeah. And Ruben, do you want to say hi to Ruben?
Say hi, Ruben.
Ruben, that's Ruben right there. That's Ruben. Okay, nice. We're all here, and we're gonna read to you from paper 175.4. So at this time, Jesus has been formally condemned by the Sanhedrin court, and it's the situation in Jerusalem. Part 4 is what we're reading from. Heather, do you want to start right there?
Yes.
Okay.
So the situation in Jerusalem. Now, at the conclusion of Jesus' last discourse in the temple, the apostles once more were left in confusion and consternation.
Yes.
Okay. Before the master began his terrible denunciation of the Jewish rulers, Judas had returned to the temple, so that all 12 heard this later half of Jesus' last discourse in the temple. It is unfortunate that Judas
Iscariot.
Thank you. Could not have heard the first and mercy proffering half of this farewell address.
Oh, so Judas didn't hear the first part of Jesus's discourse in the temple on Tuesday. He only heard that you guys are bad things are going to happen to the Jews because he heard that, but he didn't hear that Jesus still loves God still loves the Jews and wants to welcome them into the fold. He wants to forgive them, but they have to comply. They have to set down all their rigid laws and embrace higher ideals than just being, full of their pomp and arrogance, their spiritual pride. So
wow.
And so Judas Iscariot didn't hear that offer of mercy. He heard the more strict part of that discourse because he came late.
And where did these laws come from, Kim?
The Jewish laws?
Mm-hmm.
Well, people make up laws.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
People make up laws. God's law is that we love God with all our heart, and that we love each other as we love ourselves. That's that's really mostly it. Be nice, share, don't be a jerk. I mean, take care of the earth, take care of each other.
What I'm saying is but Jesus ended up in the hands of law, and he ended up having to die for love and for God's love. And I find that just to be something I'm personally dealing with in my life today, where I feel like I can't go to the system and the laws. They don't apply. There's no, I feel like if I go speak, I'll just get persecuted.
Well, the laws do have consequences, even though people make them. And God doesn't make the laws that people make.
Right.
But those laws do have consequences that we have to live with. But, our spirits, our souls, we can escape those consequences of those human laws because we live forever if we have faith. Okay.
Right.
So these things are only temporary, and that's what you have to remember. Okay.
So Jesus was an extraordinary man to just be ripped apart by the laws and trying to stand there. And he literally got nothing from the people except he was persecuted for standing up and making this message that I clearly see today, like the transgressions, that nobody will take a look, and they could have helped Jesus not have to die on that cross. They could have helped him, but everybody would turn an eye. And that's what I see. I see that, and I can't express that enough. Thank you.
Do you want to keep reading
I'm
here
going to
a
let
little
you.
bit?
I mean, I can.
Okay, we're at he did not hear this last offer of mercy.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He did not hear this last offer of mercy to the Jewish rulers because he was still in conference with a certain group of
Sadducean.
Okay, so that's right. Yep, Sadducean. And I love it. Sadducean relatives. Okay. I mean, what does that mean there? It's a
group of a Jewish sect.
Oh,
Okay,
Sadducean. Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Right.
like Catholics and Protestants, except the Jews of this time had the Pharisees and the Sadducees.
Wow.
Kind of like Democrats and Republicans
Right.
of the Jewish culture.
Wow.
Okay.
So that's what he was doing. He was with the Sadducean relatives. He didn't hear this with Jesus, proclaiming over the Jewish people
and friends
to have mercy upon them. Okay, so all right, and friends whom he had lunched.
He had lunched with some of these friends.
With whom he had conferring as to the most fitting manner of dissociating himself from Jesus and his fellow apostles.
Because he'd already made up his mind, just, I have to get away from this Jesus guy. He's driving me nuts. He's not who I thought he was. So Jesus is always thinking, this isn't for me, this religion stuff. He wanted Jesus to come in on the chariot and, with the flaming sword and go and take it to the Romans, and you know what I mean?
You're right.
So that's what he wanted, and Jesus wasn't doing that. So
no. Wow.
Okay, so it was while listening to the master's final indictment of the Jewish leaders and rulers that Judas finally made up his mind to forsake the gospel movement and wash his hands of the whole enterprise. Nevertheless, he left the temple in company with the 12, went with them to Mount Olivet, where, with his fellow apostles, he listened to that fateful discourse on the destruction of Jerusalem and the end of the Jewish nation, and remained with them that Tuesday night at the new camp near Gethsemane. The multitude who heard Jesus swing from his merciful appeal to the Jewish leaders into that sudden and scathing rebuke, which bordered on ruthless denunciation, were stunned and bewildered. That night, while the Sanhedrin sat in death judgment upon Jesus, and while the Master sat with his apostles and certain of his disciples out on the Mount of Olives, foretelling the death of the Jewish nation, all Jerusalem was given over to the seriousness and suppressed discussion of just one question: what will they do with Jesus? Okay, you go. You want me to?
I just to see how I'm just they turn their back to him when he's trying to start a movement of trying to start a movement against the very things that we are up against today.
Right.
And how are we going to do that if this is what history shows us? This is what happens. And I feel like people try to stand up and try to make these things happen in ways, but they'll get persecuted, and it always gets lost. I believe that, I don't know, because obviously we're doing this and reading this because in our hearts we believe what Jesus was doing, and he just didn't get to illuminate, because it's up in man's hands. It's up to man to make this decision, pretty much.
He was trying to set the people free.
Yeah.
Because they were imprisoned by some of these priests at that time, or the Jewish rabbis were not very savory characters. They were making a lot of money on the poor people.
And the children and the women, probably.
Sure. They were
sick.
Yeah. They were and they were very strict with these laws that really didn't make a lot of difference, didn't do anything for the well-being of the people, like making sure that they had to be really, really meticulously clean, and you had to have your hair a certain way. You couldn't eat this. You can't do this. You can't marry this person. You have to.
Well, why?
You know what I mean?
This is how they were trying to do order, and I believe this probably had to do with men out of control.
Well, it has to do with whatever they put all these rules in place that made them feel like they have some control over whether or not they are accepted by God.
Right.
They want to be able to control that. You can't.
And then usually the thing that it stems down to, I should let you finish.
Okay, well, you're talking about men's control over
themselves and their sexual urges.
Okay, that's probably part of it. Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I feel like sex is supposed to be a very beautiful thing, and then they made Jesus out to be what is he a virgin? They make him, you think he wasn't married? I mean, I'm curious.
He was. It doesn't say whether he was a virgin or not.
Right.
He was not allowed to have children in this incarnation. That was not something that was something he was forbidden to do, was have children.
And so he was careful with that? Or God kept that from that?
I don't know.
Right.
I can't, I won't, I don't, I imagine he had the same range of emotions as everybody else here, but he had a supreme amount of self-control. His mission here in this life was, he knew at some point, he was probably going to die young because these people weren't complying with what he wanted to tell them. He knew this, and I'm sure he didn't want to cause pain to anybody, so he probably didn't attach himself to relationships outside of his apostles.
Right.
Okay, so but I'm sure he had typical male urges. Okay, and
and does that make him ungodly because he
no
exactly
no not
and
at
people
all.
Just like I feel like they were mistaken on like the I just wanted to uncover the unveilment of like what Jesus was up against and these laws and these leaders that are put into place, and they're trying to make order on who is supposed to be fit in ruling.
That's true. They were
I mean, is that bad? No, but it gets out of control where when a person like Jesus comes in to make some order of it, and he was killed.
I don't have a whole lot of time.
Oh yes, yes. Oh gosh,
I have
yes.
to go see with
Yes, no, yes.
He's gonna. Okay, so we got to finish.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry to cut this a little bit short, you guys, but we can talk a little bit. Okay, at the home of Nicodemus, more than 30 prominent Jews who were secret believers in the kingdom met and debated what course they would pursue in case an open break with the Sanhedrin should come. Sanhedrin is the ruling body.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay. All present agreed that they would make an open acknowledgement of their allegiance to the master in the very hour they should hear of his arrest. And that is just what they did. So the apostles are discussing what are they going to do when they come to take Jesus. So they're already expecting this to happen. Well, they're going to say that they're aligned with Jesus. They're just going to back him up. That's not exactly what happened, right. But that's what they were thinking of. I'm not going to.
Imagine what he could have done if it went the other way, instead of dying on the cross.
Yeah.
If people would have believed, what could have he done?
A lot.
Yeah.
But only by faith are we healed.
Right.
So that's a condition on his being able to, and you'll see that being able to work miracles depends on faith. Yeah.
Thanks for having faith in me, sister.
C-star. Okay. The Sadducees, who now controlled and dominated the Sanhedrin, were desirous of making away with Jesus for the following reasons. They feared that the increased popular favor with which the multitude regarded him threatened to endanger the existence of the Jewish nation by possible involvement with the Roman authorities. His zeal for temple reform struck directly at their revenues. The cleansing of the temple affected their pocketbooks.
The Jewish people now are affected by the Romans?
No, the priests, or the rabbis, because he came and got the money changers out of the temple. He just got them all out. So it's like, what? So that's cutting into the rabbi's income, the income of the temple. Wow. So they're not able to charge to scalp these poor people here and charge them all these prices for to sacrifice a lamb or a goat or something.
And here we are in COVID. Like, where's this money coming from? Robbing Peter to pay Paul?
Yeah.
I mean, like, literally, like, what's running our government, I think to myself. and how fundamentally we are still in these times where Jesus was standing up to, if we were to make something happen, like moving forward where love and light could shine. And it's so risky. That's why I don't think everybody, people step out of that to let that love and light shine, because it's risky. And it's very risky.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Okay. They felt themselves responsible for the preservation of social order, and they feared the consequences of the further spread of Jesus' strange and new doctrine of the brotherhood of man. So they don't want to have brotherhood of man. We don't want everybody to be equal. We want us to be on top. Everybody else is on the bottom.
Yeah.
The Pharisees had different motives for wanting to see Jesus put to death.
Yeah.
They feared him because the Sadducees are a little different than the Pharisees. It's kind of like, conservatives and liberals, kind of like, or something. One, he was arrayed in telling opposition to the traditional hold upon the people. The Pharisees were ultra-conservative, and they bitterly resented these supposedly radical attacks upon their vested prestige as religious teachers. Two, they held that Jesus was a lawbreaker, that he had shown utter disregard for the Sabbath and numerous other legal and ceremonial requirements.
Oh.
Three, they charged him with blasphemy because he alluded to God as his father.
Can I? Yeah. Wow.
You want to go ahead?
I just wanted to add, like, how much honestly and personally in my life right now, because of like how COVID shifted, and with my personal experiences of just what's been happening in the last few days and my whole life, actually, that I'm regarded as a lawbreaker. I'm sitting here looking for an educational system that meets my daughter's needs, and I don't agree with what's in place right now, and I feel like it's being led by the masses of people that are out for their own, not for mine, not for my children and me. They're not looking in for me.
Right.
And I feel scared on my own. I do. I feel scared. I want to love and live for like Jesus and less love and light, but alone, I feel like I will be ripped apart. My family will be.
Heather,
what?
You're not alone.
Okay.
That's
so then
this
is okay. Yep. Not alone.
You have to put faith in something outside yourself.
All right.
Okay. So, and if your daughter's needs aren't met by the state, then they'll be met by people who care about her, people who love her. Okay.
Okay. Well, I want to be able to provide that for her.
Well, but you don't have to do it by yourself.
Right.
And you can work on it. You can do, run times tables with her, write with her, read with her,
right.
Do everything you know how to do. Okay.
And just, I feel like I'm waiting though. Like
no, don't you? That's what you can't. You don't wait. No.
Okay.
You just go. Just do what you know. Just teach her what you know.
Okay. And then
just teach her.
Okay.
Watch.
How do I keep the law off my back, my friend?
Well, you have to be doing something for her.
Sure.
So devise a curriculum.
Okay. And then who do I go to? Like, it depends on if they push on my curriculum. I mean,
Okay. So if they're pushing on your curriculum, you'll have something documented. Say, this is what I was teaching my daughter.
Yep.
This meets this certain standard. Now, you're a lay person, so you don't have to vest all of this knowledge, all this time and energy trying to understand all these little bureaucratic crossing of the dots and T's and all this. Okay. Just put forth a good faith attempt.
Okay.
Good faith.
Yes.
In good faith.
Yep.
Take your daughter into your hands, your loving hands.
Okay.
And teach her what you know.
Okay.
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 Okay. So I've given a fight of good faith in the hands.
You are, and you're a good mother. You're doing what you know. Don't wait for somebody to come and rescue you from whatever no.
And so it's irrational to have fears that they just could come in and take my children.
You know what?
Or
fear,
put me to court, into court systems.
I won't say it's irrational.
That didn't even see Jesus.
All these things are possible.
And I've seen this time and time and again in those courtrooms. And
people are screwed up.
Yep.
Okay, but
and I'm
fear,
and I'm just a lay person.
Is
And
not
here
gonna.
I know what I'm up against, and I sit here in limbo.
Limbo is what's bad. You can have fear, but fear is not going to get the floor swept.
So and right, exactly,
yeah.
nothing. And
so it's not going to do anything.
Yep.
So you take whatever you can and face whatever comes.
Mhm.
That's all you can do.
Right.
Whatever comes, you're going to be the best mother and teacher that your daughter can have, that you can give her. That's all you can do. What else? What else? You're not Wonder Woman.
Right.
Well, sort of, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. We got to get you a magic lasso, then you can be Wonder Woman. Okay?
Yes, all right. I'm down for it.
Okay.
Whip all them government systems into place.
Where are we at now? Because my son is going to be so mad at me.
Yes.
Okay. And now number 4 here I'm at here.
Okay.
Were they thoroughly angry with him because of his last discourse of bitter denunciation, which he had this day delivered in the temple as the concluding portion of his farewell address. Okay. The Sanhedrin, having formally decreed the death of Jesus and having issued orders for his arrest, adjourned on this Tuesday near midnight, after appointing to meet at 10 o'clock the next morning at the home of Caiaphas, the high priest, for the purpose of formulating the charges on which Jesus should be brought to trial. And you remember, they've already sentenced him to death. So before they're even trying him, they've already decided that we're going to kill him. I don't care what he says. They've already decided that. A small group of the Sadducees had actually proposed to dispose of Jesus by assassination. Oh, but the Pharisees utterly refused to countenance such a procedure. So no, we're going to bring him to trial and make it all look legit. Then we're going to kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that they're just tossing it around. And so hence, like, we are still up against these same wicked principles today that Jesus fought.
Yeah.
And he was at the hands of this system. And so this is a legit fear for our safety. But Jesus took it all the way home, just like Martin Luther King.
Yeah.
He took it all the way home to
yeah.
Sorry. And I find it
it's humbling, isn't it?
Yes. Very humbling.
Yeah. And I pray, if there comes a time when I'm called to make a large sacrifice, that I'll be ready. And I can only admire those people who have made those great sacrifices. Okay, and I don't know when or if that's coming. Okay, and I'm not looking forward, and you know what I mean, to saying that okay, but it's true. People have sacrificed, and Jesus not least of all. Okay, so thank you for that. Okay, one more paragraph and then we're out. Okay. And this was the situation in Jerusalem and among men on this eventful day, while a vast concourse of celestial beings hovered over this momentous scene on earth, anxious to do something to assist their beloved sovereign, but powerless to act because they were effectively restrained by their commanding superiors. So all of the angels here want to help him. Are watching this drama play out, and they want to help him. They want to do something to help him succeed, but they are being restrained because
this is. I'm sorry.
At the end, the end here is about the situation.
Okay, the celestial
beings are hovering and watching this,
and they wanted to do something.
Yeah, but Jesus told them no. That he has to play this out to the full extent of the natural conclusion of this drama,
because if he did that, then he shows how we are still in the hands of this power.
Well, he wanted to live fully as a human being, a human life. He wanted a human life. So if just when it gets to the hardest part, he says, well, I don't have to do that. I don't have to really die and go through all this pain like the humans do. No, he did not exempt himself. Even though he is God, he did not exempt himself from all of the pain and suffering that we humans produce here on this planet. So he's telling us, he can tell us that I know you. I know what it's like to be you. He didn't just because, let's say there's thousands of people that died by crucifixion. The Romans and other cultures crucified a lot of people, maybe tens, hundreds of thousands. I don't even know. I don't even know throughout history.
I feel like we're still living in a form of this energy that's easily to throw away a man like Jesus, that he laid down his life for.
Absolutely.
Obviously his story was meant to withstand, the Bible is everywhere, and it's just like, well, when you really break it down, what was he doing?
Well, he wanted to be one of us, and he couldn't truly say that he was one of us unless he lived and died as one of us.
Wow. Why did he have to go through that?
Because he chose that.
Oh, okay.
He chose that. I have to leave it there now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for listening.
More chipper next time.
We'll do. No, this is very moving.
It is.
Yeah, this
really
is very powerful stuff.
Okay. All right.
Good night. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
All right. Oh, Kim.
Okay.
Wow.
So